Welcome to Mojo Talks, where we explore the world through stories. I'm Mayur Channagere, visual storyteller and your host.
Today we have with us an exceptionally talented new gen Bharatanatyam artist, Sandhya Udupa, a disciple of renowned Acharya Indira Kadambi. Sandhya's training spans in Bharatanatyam, Kuchipudi, Yakshagana, and Carnatic music, and blending all this with deep tradition with a fresh contemporary vision. She's a graded Doordarshan artist and has performed across the world, and also conducts workshops promoting the art, not just in India, but also abroad. Beyond performance, Sandhya also serves as a trustee of Udupa Foundation, a platform committed to nurturing and promoting the next generation of performing artists. Sandhya, welcome to this talk. By education and by this thing, you are an interior designer.
Yes.
But today, you are known for your Bharatanatyam performances, the classical form. How the switch?
First of all, thank you for having me. As I said, it is the most difficult thing to do for me, the talking. But yeah, so this, I wouldn't say it as a switch at all.
Okay.
Because interior designing happened, I would say, because of dance also. Because firstly, I always love to decorate things and like that, things like that. And I was very clear of not choosing any other profession so that I can dance. You know, I knew that engineering or medicine required a lot of commitment, which I was not ready to give because I wanted to dance. And belonging to a family of engineers, by God's grace, I was never pressurized to pick any of particular stream as
Okay.
such. But then my father and my brother being engineers, civil engineers, we always had this, whenever I went to my dad's office, there used to be always this drawing sheets and, the T-scales and things like that, which always inspired me.
Okay.
So I even thought of doing architecture, but then again, the same commitment. I thought interior designing would be very easy and, just designing the space, but it didn't turn out to be like that. But that is the only option that I thought will help me pursue my dance as well alongside. So it happened because of dance. And I always said this, this would be the perfect combination to have for any dancer because, again, interiors is also about the space,
Correct.
the aesthetics,
Yes.
the colors, being creative, which is exactly what complements in my dance as well.
And that's very evident even in the way you design your lighting, your, the sets. It automatically kind of blends so beautifully. And that's what makes your performances, as a photographer for me, it's a delight, right?
Absolutely, because I think especially when it comes to colors, I'm sure all dancers are very particular of how they want the entire thing to look. But then for me, as I studied my interior designing, I became more aware of the numeric value of the space.
Okay.
As in, if I say 10 feet, I exactly know how big is 10 feet. So that's something that has really come hand in hand for me along with dance, especially when I have to think of a space. And, even if it is a group show, if I have to make it a diagonal or a square or a trapezium, I exactly know. And it has always been.
So your interior designing has not gone to waste.
No, never.
But how did dance happen?
So it's so beautiful, because my teacher, Guru Shri Chandrasekhara Navada sir, he happened to move to the space which we rented for him which was in the ground floor, and we stayed in the second floor.
Okay.
And I think I was hardly some 4 years or 5 years old. And he would take dance classes, conduct dance classes at his residence. And every day I would hear that stick thing, that noise. And I always just rushed to the ground floor, and I always, stood in the window and watching him take classes. And he came to my mother and said, why don't you just send her inside, let her just try. But then he was very clear for the fact that she will not learn until she grows up a bit, because he said it's not really good for the child to start at that tender age.
Young age. Oh, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
That used to be the belief. And I think for the technique back then that we used, it really made sense, because the way we hit our foot to the floor is quite hard. And for the growing kid, it is not really good for the growth. So I still remember, at least for the next 2 years, till I formally joined his class, he never made me do the base other than the basic stuff. It was only used to be the tattadavu maximum, and then he always made me sit. So I would say formal training started only after maybe I joined his classes, after 2 years of joining my Bharatanatyam classes. But then I still remember, after I went there, when I saw others dancing, oh my God, I was so passionate about it. And, I would come upstairs and take my mother's dupatta and just put it like the fan, the front fan that we have. And I was always in front of the mirror dancing. I remember that fondly. And then I formally joined his class. And yeah, he's, I would say he's the one person because of whom I'm dancing today.
Beautiful. So what would be a good age?
I would say getting introduced early will definitely add to their, journey. But then one must understand that, as a parent, one must understand that it is not really, before I get into that point, I would definitely say there are extremely talented kids, okay, who can take how much ever you give.
Wow.
Because they have that bandwidth to take everything the teacher gives. So I wouldn't generalize it. But then in a normal child's life, it's good to not to rush in the initial stage. Because especially now, these days, children have a lot of exposure to different things. And it's, first of all, it takes a lot of time for them to focus and take up this art form, because all the classical art forms are not instant. It's a ladder, you have to learn step by step.
Correct.
So what they see on the television or YouTube is not something that they get to learn the year they join.
True.
To come to that level, they will take really longer time, and they may or may not have that patience to understand and accept, including the parents. So I would say it's good to start when the child turns about 6 years. Having said that, few kids I do have in my class who joined at around 4.5 years or 5 years, depending on how much they can take. I think it's an individual case.
But
We
I think
cannot
six
is a very good age to start.
But also the scene in India has changed so much, especially we'll come to the classical part of it, but if you see, especially when we started having these shows of the talent shows on TV and stuff like that, and we see kids so young being pushed on stage. Yeah. What we see on screen is that, a happy child excited about performing and all that. But in reality, it's so different. But is it good to expose kids to such platforms at such a young age? Because I feel they're missing out on so many things growing up.
Yes. So I know a kid who was exposed to such reality show. And then, she is an extremely talented child, and her talent was real. It was raw. It's not something that was made for the screen or something like that. But then the child went on and on for the shooting, and she was on high of her profession already.
Wow.
And then came a point after I think 1 or 2 seasons, when the child had nothing more to expose, okay, and then she went into depression because she could not handle the fame that she
Fame,
had
yeah.
already got, and then suddenly there is a dip in her career, which where she had to go to a regular school like any other child. So my question is, it's very good that you are providing such platform. You go, you expose your talent, and you kind of get all the fame, name, everything. Then, are you in a position to handle the fame?
I mean, that not just children.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, even adults. I mean, anyone for that matter. I think mentally you have to be prepared to handle that fame.
Yes. See, at least elders will be able to manage it because
Yeah,
one or the other day they will realize that that's not a permanent thing to have. But then for a child, it can be too much. So, how do we keep them grounded? How do we tell them that not every day is a Sunday?
yeah.
So, that becomes a very challenging part. I think it depends on the environment that they belong to and how you are going to make them understand that this is yet another.
This is just a small phase of your life. It's
Right.
not the
Yes.
end of it. And also there's pressure,
Absolutely.
right? Oh no, your graph is going up,
Yeah.
and constantly you have to keep on
Yes.
improvising and this.
So
thing.
I think they spend their whole life proving themselves what they are.
To themselves.
Yes, that's what I always feel, and especially after seeing that child very closely who went through this particular phase, I really felt bad, and it was kind of an alarm for everyone, you know.
Yeah. And not just reality shows, like, we also have seen this trend of late in the last couple of years where students are learning and then it's more, Ranga Pravesham happens. I know why you're smiling. We've spoken a lot about this.
Yes, that's another.
You want to share that? I mean, okay, I'm not a trained dancer. I don't understand. But what I understand is form and rhythm. They're good. But sometimes I feel some of these kids are not even ready
Yeah.
and they're pushed on stage. Why?
Yeah, why?
Right?
Even I have no answer for that. But I honestly feel, it may be wrong on my part to say, what is an Ranga Pravesham? It is a first stage performance. So, do you really wait till you do the first stage performance officially? That used to be the
Correct.
whole.
That used to be like your...
Yes. But then now we don't do that. We do perform before that. And why do you call it as a Ranga Pravesha on the first hand?
Explain the word Ranga Pravesha.
Ranga Pravesha is supposed to be the first dance performance of that particular student formally on stage, where she will perform the entire repertoire on stage
Okay.
individually.
Okay.
So when you call Ranga Pravesha, before it used to be very simple event where you present some karnike to the guru and then offer your dance to the audience. But unfortunately, these days it's taking a whole different take, and it's a sad reality to say that it has become a business now, where people are setting higher standards by making it in the biggest auditorium in the city, providing food to all the audience. And so my question is, what if a child is extremely talented, is someone who is able to perform for continuous 2 hours, has the best of the form, but no money? Will you still call it a Ranga Pravesha?
Can they afford it? No.
That is the thing, So now Ranga Pravesha has become an event that is not affordable by everyone.
Oh.
So, yeah, I mean, I really pledged to not to do that format, but I can call it something else and still do it on a cheaper budget.
You can I mean, one is the budget part of it. Not everyone can afford it, but there's a lot of pressure from the teachers to say, okay, you got to do it in this scale, you got to do this. But we can always go back to its original form of
That would be
intimate
wonderful.
audience, where it actually goes back to the true meaning of what
Absolutely.
Ranga Pravesh. It's that interaction with the audience. Even if the kid falters, it's okay,
Yeah.
right?
See, it would be so beautiful. So basically, what is Ranga Pravesha? Forget about the outer aspect of it. When you train yourself to do a Ranga Pravesha, you will actually grow immensely. I would say I did my Ranga Pravesha, we named it Guru Vandana. And till then, the way I danced and the way I saw the entire Bharatanatyam was way too different than. And once I finished my Ranga Pravesha, that is where I started growing, because I kind of really made it personal for me to understand how I want to portray that particular character or that particular dance, right? So the journey starts from there. You actually become very serious because you would know at least the 1% of the depth of this beautiful art form has got to offer. So when you think of that particular growth as a dancer, Ranga Pravesha is necessary in everybody's Ranga Pravesha, or learning the entire repertoire and presenting. So who comes, as you said, is very, very important. So it is becoming more like a pre-marriage ritual, where the entire family comes, which is a very nice thing, because you get support of the entire family, your close ones, your friends. But I think the parents and the student also must think of their personal growth, and we need to really understand: is the child ready to take this in her journey?
Correct. And I love the point that you mentioned. It's that one performance which changed you, right? And was it because during that till then you are practicing, you're performing, on stage, not for public, but during the practice this thing, right? But that one performance when you do it, and you are connecting with your audience.
Absolutely. Because, see, being a solo dancer itself is the biggest challenge, I would say.
Yeah.
Because if you are going on stage, you are the only person that entire audience is going to focus and watch.
Attention is on you.
Yes. And are you really holding on to the audience? So that becomes the biggest responsibility. So you would want to give them the best. And I would say, my Ranga Pravesha video, I would never want to watch in my life. I'm sure most of the dancers will agree with this, because for me, at least, I'm never satisfied with my performance ever. I always find the fault on the first hand, and I'm like, why did I do this?
And that will
I
eat
could
you.
have been. I could have been better. So it's always there. I think that's how we
grow. And
right?
that's what makes you a better performer than anyone else, because we forget that we had to be self-critical.
Yeah.
And that's where perfectionism comes.
Yes.
Unless you're critical, you might have a piece for, on a scale of 1 to 100, 100%, and that 2 steps that go wrong, or even when we are shooting, when we're doing that, everything will be beautiful, but then you'll find that one thing wrong in the background that will bother you, right?
Yeah.
But that is what drives you to excel the next time and say, okay, we will not do that.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
And that's
Absolutely.
what, and like you said, that one is the connection. And second, when you're performing, I'm talking from a photographer's perspective, right? For me, when I create something, it is for the world second, but first is for me.
Yeah.
Right? And as a dancer, I'm always envious of people who can dance and sing. I've said this a million times. As a dancer, the joy you get,
Yeah.
even if it's a closed room, it's
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. It's like a 3D, experience of your creativity.
Wow. But so since we are on this topic of Ranga Pravesham and how things are, how is the scene in general changing today? Like, until a decade ago, events, performances, or shows for that matter, was kind of restricted to an elite few. But if you go back and look at our history, art was something that was presented, whether it is music, whether it's dance, it was for the public to enjoy and perform. But somewhere in the scene changed, where it kind of, became organized, this thing. But today, again, slightly, I feel that it's changing. So what are your views on that?
I would say, as an artist, I'm living in the best era because the opportunities that we have now is immense. I cannot think of this 15, 20 years back. See, I'm from Mangalore, to be specific, from Surathkal. So in places like that, it was 15, 20 years back, dance was, I cannot even imagine being a dancer as a profession. My father always said, you dance. No restriction on that. But then it's good to have another profession, just in case.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but now these days, anybody can take this as a profession.
Yes.
That is just because of the exposure and the opportunities that we have as an artist. So, name one weekend where there is no performances happening in the city. Every weekend, there is one or the other places, especially in Bangalore. It's amazing, right? It's like festival every weekend.
And it's not just this festival every weekend, but the scale. You have some large productions happening. You have the concert also. I mean, not concert. What is it? The chamber concerts happening. Right. The intimate kacheris. Yes. And this format is so beautiful.
And especially in Bangalore, there are audience everywhere.
Yeah.
How beautiful is that? So, if I have to answer your question that you asked, absolutely. It's changing drastically and so beautifully because every artist have their own fan base and people. And of course, thanks to social media, people are getting to know. The younger crowd is still, trying to manage everything and then still go attend concerts.
And I have also seen this, whether it's Udupa Festival or any of the concerts that, I've been there to shoot. The age demographics has so beautifully changed.
Yeah.
The younger generation are now interested in classical. I can understand, a rock concert, but even our classical art forms.
Absolutely.
Packed houses, and I would say 30% of them are the younger generation.
Yes.
So there is hope.
Absolutely. I will never accept the fact that our art forms are going nowhere. No, it's growing really well. And considering teachers, good teachers we have in town, of course, all over, it is in safer hands. I will never accept the fact that our art is diminishing. No, not at all.
And okay, on diminishing this thing, what is your take on this? I'm slightly mixed on this. Okay, I have a mixed opinion. There's also, thanks to the social media, there's also this trend of fusion. Right? You take a Bharatanatyam dancer trying to dance or perform for an English number.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
I know the smile. But what is your take on that? Then I'll share mine.
See, as you know me, I'm a person who has certain values and systems. So one song you want to perform and become viral, okay, fine, go ahead and do it. Don't say that that's Bharatanatyam. You call it fusion and do whatever you want to do, that's fine. But if you say that Bharatanatyam, and I think it needs to have all the aesthetics that is required to perform a Bharatanatyam. On the other aspect, I would say, see, for example, for a Western audience, maybe if you're able to connect the Indian art form, it may be a medium for them to explore like that. But then, as I said, you need to be very clear of
On the
how
definition.
you want to, how you want to portray it. Don't say that this is a traditional, Unfortunately, a friend of mine shared a particular video clipping where I think she's a singer, I'm not sure of her name, dancing, wearing shoes and, half naked dresses and completely a proper Bharatanatyam. And the problem that I had there was they mentioned she was performing Bharatanatyam for some other music. Okay, you can say that Indian class form adapted to so and so. It makes more sense. You cannot call it Bharatanatyam by however you want to present it.
I'll take a very simple thing that you said. Wearing shoes. I mean, there itself, I draw the line.
Yeah.
I mean, wearing shoes and dancing is okay. But there is this beautiful spiritual aspect
Absolutely.
of art.
Yeah.
Especially traditional arts, right?
Yes.
Something as simple as even when we get on stage, even as photographers or whatever, we remove the shoes.
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
I'm glad that, people like you do that. But there are.
You're respecting the platform. At the end of the day, it's that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it's simple as that. But at the same time, if again, picking on what you said, don't call it Bharatanatyam. Call it Indian art form fusion
Yeah,
or presenting
yeah.
Indian art form in a Western.
Yeah.
Define it in a different way.
See, even mentioning the style is okay, but that cannot be Bharatanatyam.
Yeah. But you're able to reach a much wider audience.
Yeah.
Our art form is reaching out. I'm sure there are so many examples. If you go back and see, it was Pandit Ravi Shankar ji who introduced sitar to the world, and where the Indian music kind of took on the global stage.
Yeah.
And then Shakti, Zakir Bhai, John McLaughlin, Viku ji, they took it to a different level.
Yeah. See how beautifully, how aesthetically, how calculatively they have
Correct.
introduced Indian classical music, and it's so beautiful.
And so everybody knows that when it comes to such music, Indian music is popular in the West, in US, in UK, in Europe. Who would have thought Poland has such a huge following?
Yeah.
I know you and Giri have gone and performed there multiple times. And
Yes.
I think for Giri, it's second home.
Yes.
Or rather, I don't know, should I say this? Is it his first home? The amount of time he spends there. But the kind of, the appreciation that they have. Why Poland?
I don't know. I always felt that these Polish people have the same warmth as Indians, I have felt it multiple times where, the way they perceive our art form is, it's very warm. I have this feeling for that particular country.
Could it be that there are similarities in their music or their art forms to ours?
I'm not really the right person to answer that. But on the other hand, see, when we are invited to perform there, we are communicating with people who are already inclined to Indian art form. So maybe because of that one thing, maybe I feel they are more connected. But for sure, the way they accept the Indian art form, the way they cherish the Indian art form is for sure, it's much warmer than other places.
Or maybe it's culturally there's something similar. Or maybe some kind of influence that has happened. And just to kind of, move to a different topic. What is Abhinaya?
Oh.
It's a long...
Abhinaya is the purest form of the expression that you would want to convey about a particular character.
Okay.
Abhinaya is for sure something that is not achieved by practice alone. You
gotta
need to
feel
be
it.
the character.
You got to feel that.
Yes. And of course, it comes through practice. The nuances, how much to do, what not to do, comes through practice. But for me, Abhinaya is something living the character itself.
If you were to draw parallels in acting, method acting, is that something close to that?
Yeah, for sure. But in Bharatanatyam, what happens is it has got its own line where we need to draw.
Okay.
There is something called Natya Dharmi and Loka Dharmi, where Natya Dharmi is not crossing the limit that the dance in the dance aspect there are boundaries.
Okay.
How much I can be
Creative.
How much I can be creative. Whereas if I have to talk about Loka Dharmi is something that is raw, which is theatre.
Okay.
Like, living the character. So, for example, if I have to show, hey, who the hell are you? In dance, then I would say. So if I have to do that in theatre, I would say. So I cannot cross the limit of being that the character itself.
You can't get too close to reality.
I cannot be too raw.
Too raw.
There is a limitation how much I can get.
Okay. And does that also happen in real life with
Yeah.
Giri?
No. With Giri, I'm fully Lokadharmi.
So in real life, does it happen?
Yeah. See, for example, if I have to talk to you now on this particular show, then I have to maintain certain way that I portray things. And if I'm talking to you outside having coffee, then it's way too different. As simple as that.
Because the reason why I ask you about Abhinaya is, see, many times when we are shooting, right, editorial, or when you're even, for example, it could be a simple family portrait,
Okay.
right? We might not call it Abhinaya, but I use certain terms of emoting,
Great.
right? Just to bring that emotion,
Correct.
or it could be that reaction sometimes I want, and
Yeah.
I use those terms.
Yes.
So real life and dance, they're not too very different.
They aren't.
They aren't.
No. So every character that we portray. So basically, what do we show while we dance? It's the stories, right? It's the stories that has been said, lived, and spoken about.
Correct.
So we are just, if I'm talking about Ramayana, that's something that has happened and the characters were lived. So I'm just being Rama. If I'm showing Rama, then I'm showing how Rama lived.
Yeah.
So it's just the reflection of your real life. It cannot be a totally two different entities. So if I'm creating a character of my own, then maybe again that is an influence of my real life experience itself, right? It cannot be a completely new thing that has popped in my mind.
Let me ask you this, since you mentioned Rama and Ramayana and this thing. We know about this because we have read. There are people who documented it. They have written about it. And also over a period of time, it was oral storytelling that has come. Unfortunately, except for our temples and the depictions, we don't really have a visual representation. I'm not saying proof. Visual representation of this is how it could be, or this is how they lived, or this is how Rama looked, or this is how Sita looked, or this is how she was when she was in Vanvas. So when we read, based on our experience, we have certain visual,
Right.
and we interpret that in a certain way.
Correct.
How different is that when you say reality versus Rama's depiction? So where do you draw that line? Because it's still visualization, it's still creativity, it is still the freedom that you take.
Yeah. So I think in that, when you read, so for example, if let's take character of Rama himself. So when we read about Rama, so they would have portrayed it in a certain way. Like
Yes.
Rama looked 6 feet tall, and he was,
A muscular body,
yeah.
and the way.
So the imagination is something that will help us portray Rama. So for example, I cannot become 6 feet only because I'm showing Rama. I cannot grow 6 feet tall. But there is a certain way that I hold myself.
Yeah. The body language.
Body language and the subtlety, the way Rama would speak. So easiest way for me to explain you that is when I become Rama and when I become Krishna. Right? So if I'm Rama and if I'm talking to Sita, the way I look at her would be like, So Rama had carried a lot of respect for
respect and
Sita,
love for
and so the way he would talk to Sita and the way Krishna would talk to Sita would be so different.
Show me that. Show me that. I want to see the switch happening when you're on between Rama's character and.
Okay, so I will just show maybe the character of Rama. Okay, and if it is Krishna, so how playful he can be, and
That's beautiful. I mean, that is one is the dance masterclass in how you can emote with just your eyes and just the face, right? A real life lesson
yeah.
as to how we might not be happy with the situation, but still keep
Oh,
calm
yes.
and not
Yes.
the poker face.
See, for me, that's the biggest takeaway from dance itself, because the way we control our emotions, I'm sure we have mastered in that. I mean, all of us, all the dancers, because there are times where we are really sick. Can I show to the audience that I'm sick? So people would have come to watch you. And if I'm still unwell, I will have to show the happiest Radha or happiest, Krishna, and still entertain the audience. So the emotion, that control that we have on our physical body and our mental thing, right? It's something that is the best takeaway for me. The way we live
itself comes in. But so tell me this, Sandhya. I mean, this is a question that I battle. You are constantly performing. You have performances, practice sessions. You're traveling. You conduct classes.
Yeah.
Right? And constantly, like day in, day out, you are in that zone. Right? And I know personally it is not physically, mentally, emotionally possible to be 100% creative 100% of the times. You do have your burnouts, you do have your emotional meltdowns.
Yeah.
Right? How do you keep that going? The reason I'm asking is not just as a dancer. We as people, we have our phases day in, day out. Let's say someone who's working in the job listing, you have those phases. Creative field, you have those phases. Personal life, you have those phases. But how does one maintain that? Or how does one overcome that?
See, if I have to talk about myself, when I see a particular expectation from each personalities in my life, I think I'm a person who would want to give my 100%. So what happens is, when it comes to my class, when I see these kids coming regularly, and for me the biggest inspiration is also my students who manage everything and still make it to classes. I have few senior students who manage their work and still wanting to come and practice even if it is late in the night. That is such an inspiration. They are my inspiration. I have few senior dancers like who have learned somewhere else and who still make time to come, who themselves have kids of 10th and 12th grade, still come to my class no matter what. I know how the struggle that they would have fought in their respective houses, and they come. So for me, as a teacher, I really want to give them the best. Few kids come, the kuti ones, they come, and the parents with lot of expectation, they leave the child to me, and the faith that they have on me, that is my biggest inspiration when it comes to classes. So there are many times where it is really hard for me to conduct the classes with the multiple things that I have to do. It is this thinking of where they come from and why they are here. And when it comes to my son, for example, I know that as a mother, I know his expectations. So he will not want me to always say, sit and practice, do this, do that, So there are times that he will want certain things from me.
He wants you to be the mother.
Mother, that's it.
That's it.
Just be with me, So I think when you think of, when I go to my class with my teacher, Indiraka's class, I know she will, as a student, I will have to fulfill certain things that she expects from me. So I really don't like to give reasons there, I had my class, I had this, she knows it, right?
Yeah.
So when I go there, I'm just a student. So I think this is what
It
keeps me going. And when it comes to other activities of the foundation and everything, we know why we do that. I think everything has a kind of
Purpose.
demand and
has a purpose.
Purpose, for sure. Yes.
I mean, and it's not easy.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I know. I mean, because one is, I think both of us can say this. We are very grateful for the support system that we have.
Absolutely.
Be it our spouses, be it our parents.
Absolutely.
Right?
Every single day.
Every single minute.
Absolutely.
Right? It wouldn't be easy. But then again, I would like to add this. Giri is also very lucky because I know he literally lives out of his suitcase. Right? Again, because I say that while he is doing what he's doing, there's a purpose, there's a reason, and he's very clear on that.
Absolutely.
You are managing the other side of it, which is the family, the son, while you're also balancing your passion in this thing. And the way I see it, I think, for me, getting behind the camera is my escape. And for you, it is dance.
Yes. And I must say that, it's because of someone like Giri in my life. It is also, I would say that definitely he's my biggest inspiration to stay humbled and the simplicity is a word for him, I've never seen him as a Ghatam player at home at all. No, just when he goes to the stage and when he does what he does, I'm like, is he the real person that I'm living with? That's kind of a question. Every time when I see him perform, I feel that. Because that is how he never brings his profession or his personality home. How beautiful is that, to live with such a person. He himself is a biggest inspiration for me, especially how to deal with life and people.
And how to stay grounded.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've seen both of you at very, 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 very close quarters with not just as musicians, but even as who you are. And the kind of people, the love and respect that you guys get from all the artists.
Yeah.
It's just phenomenal.
And adding to that, which I think is a must for me in my life, is the support that I have from my parents. If I have to travel, if I'm traveling at all, it's just because of my mother, who is always there. She says, do whatever you want to do, I'm there. I mean, how many of us get someone like that, right? To manage everything at home, and when I'm away, and it's like as good as both of us are not there at all, and managing my naughty son. So I'm so grateful to her. Absolutely. And if I'm doing anything at all, it's just because of her and, my father. As I told you, he's one big talented person himself.
On that note, I actually I'm waiting for the day where he's sitting there and
I'm looking forward.
Definitely that's on the list that we want to do. On this note, we'll just take a short break.
Sure.
Because I want to build a bit more on what we just spoke.
Okay.
And that's going to come in our next part of our conversation.
The visibility is more, but it comes with a package. The more visible you are also criticized more. Most of the artists completely leaving this art form and finally getting back at it because that's where they realize they belong to. This is something that people opt to go for when they're really happy. And sometimes I feel very sad. We reached a point where we never thought we would. And everybody had to start from zero.
Till then, keep your mojo alive and feel the rhythm.